You've been carrying a name your whole life. You've written it on forms, signed it on documents, introduced yourself with it 1,000 times without a second thought. But here's what nobody ever told you. That name, your Irish surname, is not just a label. It is a bloodline marker, a clan signature, a piece of living history encoded in syllables that your ancestors carried through famine, through war, through centuries of survival, and handed down to you. Every Irish surname tells a story, and that story doesn't begin with your grandparents or their grandparents. It begins in a time before surnames even existed, when Ireland was divided into dozens of ancient kingdoms, ruled by warrior clans whose names became so powerful, so feared, so deeply embedded in the land itself, that their descendants chose to wear those names forever. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which ancient Irish clan your surname connects you to, and what that clan's history says about the blood you're carrying right now. Is Mísid ó Shuid Fola, Aist Liam. I am your blood. Listen, to understand what your surname means, you first have to understand the world that created it. Ancient Ireland was not a single nation. It was a mosaic of kingdoms, tuatha in the Old Irish, each ruled by a king, each bound by its own laws, its own warriors, its own sacred lands. There were hundreds of them, ranging from tiny local chieftainships to the great provincial kingdoms of Ulster, Munster, Leinster, Connaught, and Meath. These kingdoms were not built on geography alone. They were built on blood, on lineage, on the fierce, unapologetic belief that who you descended from determined who you were, what land you owned, what laws protected you, and who was obliged to fight and die beside you. The fine, the extended kin group, was the foundation of everything. Your fine was your identity, your legal standing, your army, and your social safety net all at once. To be without a fine was to be without a name, without a place in the world. And so when surnames began to appear in Ireland around the 10th century, making Ireland one of the earliest places in the world to adopt hereditary surnames, they weren't invented casually. They were chosen deliberately to announce permanently and publicly which blood you carried. The formula was simple and devastating in its directness. O, meaning grandson of, or descendant of, Mac, meaning son of, followed by the name of the most powerful, most celebrated ancestor your family could claim. You weren't just named after a person. You were named after a dynasty. This is where most people get it wrong when you see O at the start of an Irish surname. O'Brien, O'Neill, O'Connor. That O is not decorative. It is not just an Irish-sounding prefix. It is a direct claim of descent. O comes from the Old Irish ua, meaning grandson, or more broadly, male line descendant. When your ancestor chose to be called O'Brien, O'Brien, they were making a public declaration. I am a descendant of Brian, not just any Brian. Brian Boru, High King of Ireland, the man who broke Viking power at the Battle of Clontarf in 1014. That is the ancestor your surname is pointing at. Mac works differently. Mac means son of. It implies a slightly more recent, more direct claim of paternal descent. Where O suggests a dynasty built over generations, Mac often signals a warrior lineage, a chieftain's son whose military prowess or political power was so significant that his descendants chose to anchor their identity to him specifically. Both prefixes were stripped from millions of Irish surnames during the era of English colonization. O'Neill became Neil, McCarthy became McCarthy, and many families reclaimed them in the Gaelic revival of the 19th and 20th centuries. If your surname has lost its O or Mac somewhere along the way, the clan connection remains. The prefix is the signpost. The name itself is the destination, the Ui Nail, the clan behind every O'Neill. O'Donnell and O'Doherty, the Ui Nail, descendants of the legendary Niall of the Nine Hostages, were arguably the most powerful dynastic force in Irish history. Niall ruled as High King of Ireland in the late 4th and early 5th centuries, and his descendants dominated the northern half of Ireland for over 1,000 years. If your surname is O'Neill, you carry his name directly. If your surname is O'Donnell, O'Domhnail, you descend from a branch of the Uí Néill that carved out its own kingdom in Donegal, becoming one of the most powerful Gaelic lordships in Ulster, right up to the flight of the Earls in 1607. O'Doherty, O'Gallagher, O'Kane, O'Boyle, all of these surnames trace roots back into the vast Uí Néill network. If your name appears on that list, you carry the blood of a dynasty that produced high kings, resisted Viking invasion, survived Norman conquest, and fought the English crown for 6 centuries before finally being broken. The Dalkais, the clan behind every O'Brien and McNamara. The Dalkais were a Munster clan who rose from relative obscurity to produce the most celebrated king in Irish history, Brian Boru. Brian Boruma Mac Chenatig was born of their blood, and when he broke the Viking stranglehold on Ireland at Clontarf in 1014, dying in his tent on the morning of victory, his clan's name became legend. O'Brien is the most direct descent claim from Brian himself. McNamara, Mac Conmara, was the hereditary standard-bearer of the Dalkais, the clan entrusted with carrying the O'Brien battle flag into war. O'Grady, MacMahon, O'Dee, all Dalkais branches, all Munster blood, all connected to that single extraordinary dynasty. The Uí Main, the clan behind every O'Kelly and O'Madden, the Uí Main, were the ancient rulers of East Connaught, what is now County Galway and South Roscommon. Their territory stretched across some of the most contested land in Ireland, and their surnames, O'Kelly, O'Madden, O'Hanley, are some of the oldest unbroken Gaelic lineages still carried today. O'Kelly in particular, O'Seala, was one of the last great Gaelic families to maintain political power after the Norman invasion, holding their territory through a combination of military force and strategic alliance well into the late medieval period. The Oganacht, the clan behind every McCarthy and O'Sullivan. The Oganacht were the ancient kings of Munster before the Dalkais rose to challenge them. Their heartland was the kingdom of Desmond, what is now Cork and Kerry. And their 2 great surviving branches are McCarthy and O'Sullivan. Here is something that rarely gets spoken plainly. Between the 16th and 19th centuries, the systematic dismantling of the Gaelic clan system by English colonial power did not just destroy kingdoms and confiscate land. It attacked the names themselves. Clan surnames were anglicized, truncated, mistranslated, and deliberately altered to sever the connection between Irish people and their Gaelic lineage. O'Brien became Brian, then Bryant. MacCarthy became McCarthy, then Carthy, then, in some American immigration records, simply Carty. Some surnames were translated by meaning rather than sound. O'Gabhan, meaning grandson of the smith, became Smith. Mac and Beard, meaning son of the bard, became Ward. Families who had carried warrior clan names for 800 years found themselves filing into emigration ships under surnames that bore no trace of the ancient lineage they were leaving behind. This is why, if your Irish surname looks simple, short, or oddly English, it may not always have been. The Anglicization was thorough, but the bloodline underneath it was not erased, only renamed Nílantain Machbrat, Ise an Fuil an Firine. The name is only a cloak. The blood is the truth. So, look at your surname again. If it carries an O or a Mac, you are holding a 1,000-year-old declaration of who you descend from. A clan chieftain powerful enough that his people chose to carry his name through everything history could throw at them. If your surname has been anglicized, shortened, or altered beyond recognition, the lineage is still there, buried under a colonial layer but not gone, never gone. Every Irish surname is a compressed history of a people who refused to disappear, who survived famine and plantation and persecution and crossed oceans with nothing but their names and their blood and the stubborn insistence that those two things together were enough. They were enough. They got to you. Sláinte maith, friends.